Good evening, everybody, and welcome to ILR2 Xbox for Season 6 for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Alongside me tonight will be the amazement or Joe. How are you doing, mate?
Hello, it's good to be back after I've been here, there, everywhere really with whatever tier I'm commentating on. So we're back for tier 2. It's a delight to be here. Thank you, Dom, for the warm introduction. So it's been a long week. But hopefully this race is exciting and doesn't make you yawn like I've just done there. We don't want that to happen, do we?
We should be in for an entertaining race, hopefully, because Baku always throws up some interesting entertainment in real life and even in league racing. So, we're in qualifying right now. Everyone's sort of doing their kind of outlaps. And yeah, I mean, really, Joe, who's your money on for this session?
Well, considering obviously I weren't here for last week in China, a few of the very quick people, I know Langman, Dralix and Alpa moved up. So it's really a case of who can seize the initiative, really. I know Nathan won last time out in China, Jork's a championship leader, so they're two of the very strong candidates. But as you say, Baku, it always throws up a, surprise or three. And you just don't know, do you? You just don't know who can keep out the walls and just who's there at the checkered flag, and maybe a bit of rain can intervene. Fingers crossed. But yeah,
Fingers crossed.
I just don't know. It's really hard to make a prediction. I don't want to make one at the moment.
Yeah, exactly. We have got the championship leader out on circuit. Jorky is out there on his kind of like an outlap. He got out of the way of somebody, but he's out there at the moment, and he's been super consistent so far. As you mentioned, our guys from Australia, they've gone and obviously moved up to tier 1. But Jork, as it stands on his consistency, as it stands, he currently leads championship ahead of Nathan Aitken, who won last time out in China. Finally hooked things up to Nathan Aitken and finally scored his win in ILR, so well done to him. But again, we should see more of the same. His pace in China was pretty good. So entering this race, he should be kind of full of confidence in some ways. And he should be right up there, again, one of probably the guys to beat going into this race of the season. So LCR Mulder, top session at the moment on 39.656, and you do expect those times to start tumbling, as now Pelzeri has gone to the top on a 37.670. So the times are already starting to tumble as people run different compounds. Mike Marshmallow slots in between them, and he is currently in P2 on a 38.769. So already people are starting to put in lap times, but you expect those times to tumble throughout the whole session as the track gets more rubbered in and everybody starts getting into their groove around the circuit. And it is one of those circuits that requires a little bit of rhythm, really. You don't want to be hitting those walls, and if you do hit those walls, they can be absolutely lethal. So it's all about just trying to keep it clean out there and just basically keeping it tidy and be aggressive at the same time. But again, everyone's sort of on different compounds. With the top 4 on the soft tyres, we got Mulder and João Paulo on the hard, and the same with Jork on the hard as well. So again, people are just kind of getting a feel for things, not really pushing their cars to the absolute limit at this point of the session at the moment.
Yeah, take a breather. That was a very long time to talk between actually breathing. So yeah, it's a funny old track. This is probably the most unique track I can think of in terms of just its actual layout, because obviously you want very low downforce because of all the straights and what have you, but all the technical corners as well. So you have a Monaco-ish middle sector, and then obviously a sort of Monza-like sector 1 and 3, really. So yeah, it is very strange. It'll be interesting to, see. I expect everyone to have just chopped all their downforce off as much as possible, but that will hinder you through the slow corners a little bit. So yeah, very interesting to say it's one of them as well. You don't want to be going too quick straight away either, because if you do your first lap, in the wall, banging the wall, you don't want to do that. So yeah, it's a confidence one. I think it's definitely one where you tend to drive at 90% to begin with, and then your last couple of qualifying laps you really check everything at it. I don't know what your experience is like of racing here, but say just keep it out of the walls and you keep it consistent, you're going to get a result at the end of it. And hopefully in qualifying, someone who dares and actually wins can get it on the front row. I think pole is quite crucial around here as well, because considering the long straights, it's a very short run to turn 1, isn't it? I think it's one of the shortest of the season. So
It is, yeah.
And of course you don't want to be behind anyone through sort of sector 1 and 2 on the first lap, because if you get a car going in the wall and you're just behind, you've got no way of avoiding that. None at all. I remember don't know if you remember this, the Esports qualifying race round there. when someone crashed in the wall and there was 10 racers, probably about 5 or 6 of them being eliminated. Or pretty much being eliminated, lost front wings, or actually have destroyed their car. So that is a big black spot really for drivers in terms of times which have been set. Anyway, there's nothing really that major. Say Palsbury's gone quicker than a 37.6. Be interesting to see what strategy people choose in the qualifying here as well, because a few people have done a few laps on the hards. Nathan, Jork, Jamie and Aaron Dazzler are the ones who've set their fastest times. So I think Aaron Dazzler's had a bit of a problem. He's not facing the right way. And there's a yellow flag.
Nathan Aitken. We're riding more Nathan Aitken and he's throwing around. Yeah, he's kind of in that first sector. And he's
at turn 3?
Yeah, turn 3. He must have gone deep into that corner. It's very easy to go deep and hit the wall, and he's obviously just maybe spun it up on the curb, because the extra curbs are quite tough, but that's a weird area to make. Oh, as Nathan Aitken hits the wall at the castle section, and you mentioned about mistakes, and how if you drive to 100%, you can pull it in the wall early, and that's what Nathan Aitken's just done at the castle section. So, again, but he's not out of qualifying, he's lost his front wing. He needs to keep it all steady as he comes back to the pit lane, because you don't want to crash out in this last part and not be able to get back to the pit lane. But yeah, you mentioned mistakes already. We've seen 2 mistakes almost in the same lap. Nathan Aitken and Aaron Dazzler, they've both made errors on their laps there. So pushing hard on maybe the early stages isn't good. I mean, certainly from my experience, I agree with you, Joe. It's all about kind of just building your momentum throughout the whole session, getting an early banker but not pushing 100% because you have that banker to fall back on, and then absolutely going for it in the last 5 minutes. But I think pushing early on, it's going to cost you in terms of grid position if you push early on and crash out of qualifying.
Yeah, it was just very weird how when I went on the onboard with Aaron, he was on the inside wall, so I think he must have clipped the inside wall and spun it around that way. It's the only thing I can think of, because normally you would go straight on, locking up, going a bit too quick in the corner, but he must have ended up round that way. It's a bit bizarre. He lost most of his front wing anyway. He's back in the pits, thankfully. What would be interesting as well is see if anyone will try and nick a slipstream. I think Ginger Ninja's tried to do it. Is he trying it? Is that his teammate in front? I don't think it's his teammate. It's just Pigeon Munch.
Mr. Pigeon Munch, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, and Renault. So we might see a little bit more of this with drivers trying to, get a bit of lap time that way. I mean, it's quite smart, but say he might catch up to Mr. Pigeon Munch at the wrong time. Mr. Pigeon Munch on the mediums, Ninja on the softs, so he'll inevitably catch him up through this middle sector. At least he should do. I think the time difference is probably well over half a second. It wouldn't surprise me. But yeah, if he catches him up in the wrong place, or Mr. Pigeon Munch has a problem or mistake on his lap, then it's a risky one. Expect a few teammates to do it. I could see Danny and Mike try and do it.
Yeah.
I think they tried something very similar in the SRL days for ULC. I don't know if it was them two exactly.
They're pretty strong teammates in terms of, they're quite good friends and generally have quite good respect for each other. So those two, I was going to make a mention of that. They do tend to work together at times, as Ginger Ninjas get absolutely blocked to hell by the Renault, and they're both on flying laps, and you don't expect Mr. Pigeon to get out of the way. So it's kind of as you mentioned, wrong time for him. But yeah, I do expect Slipstream to try as Mr. Pigeon Munch hits the wall, and he's lost a little bit of the end plate on his front wing, and I don't think Ginger Ninja would be that appreciative of what he's just what just happened to him. But you could argue it's kind of, he's risked it. He's sat in the slipstream for the whole lap. He was very close to Mr. Pigeon Munch throughout the whole lap, even beginning of the lap. So that was bound to happen for him. He'll try again and probably on those set of tyres. But we're coming up to that sort of 5-minute mark now, with 6 minutes and 30 seconds almost to go in session. So lap times will start tumbling, and more people will start doing kind of fast lap times as things go on. I can see a lot of people probably just doing their times now. Pelsbury goes on the 37.4. I think a lot of people will probably start on the medium tyre. That's my opinion. But then again, we're seeing a lot of times again on that soft. So prep position does matter around here, I think. But you can overtake. That long straight, for example, is one of the longest straights on the calendar. So there's overtaking opportunities. But I do think the better tyre to start on, I would say, and I put my bet on, would be the medium, probably.
Yeah, and considering my very limited knowledge of this game, I'm not sure what the best strategy would be. Normally, You could run slightly softer tyres around here and save the rears. It's always a rear limited circuit. You never put any real wear through the fronts. So I would expect people to be able to run a softer strategy. You have been able to on previous games. And this game is, from what I've seen, very similar to 18 in terms of the actual tyre wear. So it's interesting to see that split. It's almost like a 50-50 split between the grid, as Aaron Dazzler's actually gone into the castle wall on board with Jort there, and he has
And
done
Mike's had to back out of that. Yeah, and Mike's had to be backed out on that one. Yeah.
He's lived to fight another day, though, thankfully, probably able to slow it down. So Aaron, with his second mistake of the session already, he should be able to get in time and set, something. And say he went back out on the hard tyres, which was very interesting. Surely he's going to bin that strategy off and just go straight for the softs. Get a bit of lap time in. Say Hayden, is he starting a lap there behind Danny? Or no, Danny's coming in. And I think Hayden's just starting one now, so that's very interesting to see him getting a bit of slipstream. Everyone's trying everything. Danny's already over to the left-hand side, and Hayden's tried absolutely everything to gain the last little bit. Don't blame him. So Mike's about to finish a lap, I do believe. I could be wrong.
I think he got caught up. I think he got caught up with Aaron Dazzler. I don't think it's going to be an amazing lap. He's 14 seconds off, so he's going to be back into the pits. Yeah. Everyone's back in the pits, really. I mean, we've got BO or Hamilton out there, but I'm sure he's coming into the pit lanes. He's 6 seconds off, so... Or does he continue? Yeah, he goes in. Jork, how is he getting on? Is he actually starting a lap? He's in the first sector, so let's keep on board with Jork, current championship leader. Let's see how he navigates through. He's on the medium tyre, so with 4 minutes to go, you expect this to be one of his last laps, to be honest, because he won't have another lap to go for it. The safety net for him is if he makes a mess with this one, he can go again on this tyre, but ideally he wants to knock it in early. He's up by a tenth and 2 tenths actually in a bit, nearly 3 tenths of a second in the first sector, so he's on an improvement so far. It'll put him near where Nathan Aitken is at the moment. Now double right-handers, and we start to climb up to the car section, which is where a lot of people can make mistakes, down into third gear, being very careful, and you can tell he's navigated through there quite nicely, and he gets an alright run through that. And then down, sort of, you can have a bit of a breather then through this fast left-hander. And then you've got this really big braking point. It's blind initially, but then you turn it in, down into second gear, and up to third on the exit to get better traction. And is he up in the middle sector? Let's see, he's going to be there or thereabouts, I think. It's not telling me, but he's actually 1.1 up. So he is a huge amount of time up now through the flat left and then the flat right. And now it's all about the waiting game now. I'm not trying to scrub off as much speed as possible. You're going to be kind of being as careful with the steering as much as possible to get the best runs possible. And here he comes. Let's see where it's going to be on the grid. It's going to be an improvement. Across the line is a 39.1. Puts him into P6. So, not bad. Not the fastest medium, but he'll take that. He's retired from the session. He's taking that time, and that's his final run done. So that's Jork set up for qualify for his grid position, but we've got a lot more people who can go for improvements, and you can see a lot of people who are in the pit lane are going out the circuit right about now, and the track is about to get really, really busy, and if you're in the wrong space at the wrong time, yeah, your final lap will be ruined. So it's all about making sure you get the right space on this out lap and not get held up on your flying lap, and I think you can see with a lot of people going out on circuit, a big chance for people to be held up, as I've now got the sound glitch, which is lovely.
Oh dear. One thing I was going to say, I wanted you to complete that lap on board with Jork. Fletcher has set a interesting lap time there, down in 14th. He managed to make quite a large mistake in the castle section as well. He's only just got back in the pits as well, silly, with a damaged front wing, so he's not going to be able to get back out in time. So that's his session already done. Hopefully he can get from the 107% rule. Hopefully let him race.
Fingers crossed, yeah.
Yeah, that's not really gone very well. So it's interesting that Jork decided to complete that lap on the mediums, and he's completely committed to that strategy where most people here gone on the softs. Probably about 70%, 60-70% of the drivers have gone on that tyre. So yellow flag sector 1, sector 2. I'm hoping this is just people getting out the way and no one actually in the wall. I can't see anyone in the wall on my screen, so who would be the first one to complete a lap out of people who are already on? I think Danny is potentially.
Yeah, we're on board
already,
with Danny.
Yeah, he's already through the first sector. He is just shy of a tenth up, but he has 6 tenths to make on Pelzer. I mean, we didn't really expect the times to really tumble to the end of the session. I think they will do, but Pelzer's effort looks like a really good one already. So can Danny keep it clean through the castle section now, down to possibly third on the entry? That curb on the inside, I must say, looks a lot harsher than the other games on the inside, but that's brilliant from Danny through there. Really hung it out on the outside wall. As you say, breather through these next two flat out left-handers. Bit difficult in the race, actually, must be said, with heavy fuel. Straight line braking. Oh my God, he takes a lot of curb there. I'm surprised you can get away with that just after the 100-metre board now and the long run up to the line. 4 attempts up from Danny, and that looks like a really good exit, so potentially challenging for pole at the moment. Say easy left right, very easy in the race as well, bit difficult in the wet. What is Danny going to do now? As you say, don't take too much time out of it by weaving left and right, probably stay closest to the pit wall. What is Danny going to do? 37.4 is the time to beat, and he does a 37.5 as Mike gets a 5-place grid penalty for colliding with Nathan. They're completely different parts of the track.
That's interesting. I wonder if that happened earlier on. It might have happened earlier on. We didn't see that. Very strange.
It just popped up in the bottom.
That's just happened then, isn't it? That's a bit interesting. Very interesting.
Anyway.
Okay. So continuing on, Smasher F1 is out there at the moment. He's 4/10. Oh, he's gone really deep out of the last proper corner. So he's messed up 4/10, but yeah, he's gonna be a bit off, isn't he? As Nathan Aitken is 4th. So did it affect him? We're not sure. So I'm sure we'll see that after this race is all completed. But Smasher goes across the line. It's gonna be a 38.9 in the end. So that's 6th place on the grid. Mr. Pigeon Munch, he's down, so he isn't going faster. LCR Maldonado span, and he was up, so he span out the last corner, I think, the last proper corner before the flat out left-right section. He's gone, he's hit the wall somewhere, and he was actually up on his lap, so that's a mess from the Toro Rosso driver, and he's normally good in qualifying. And he's done down the order. BRR Hamilton, where is he going to be? 7th place, which means that it puts Jork into 10th and Mulder in 11th, so Mulder will get free tyre choice, so that's any consolation for him. Now, Hayden goes 11th, and he'll get free tyre choice too. So, that has been it for qualifying, I think, unless Danny's on another lap, and he isn't, so
I don't think he is.
That is qualifying over and done with, and it's Pelzery on pole, and he put that lap really early. Fair play to him, he's put the lap in early, put the banker down, delivered the lap when he needed to, and everybody else chasing behind him hasn't been able to go faster than him. So Pelzery scores pole position here in Baku ahead of Danny, who was also on pole position in China. So another front row for Danny M7 there.
Yeah, and it's good to see Danny has done that pretty much on merit. I think in China he did it on the soft, so I know he still had to do the lap time, but it's good to see he's done that on merit. And the front two are a long way ahead of third, about 7-10 gap between Danny and Mike, so hopefully in the race it's a lot closer than that. I mean, at least if there's a battle for the front, that'd be good. It's very interesting to see just a large lap time difference between all the drivers. Say, normally you get about a second difference between first and sort of 12th, 13th, but here it's well over 2 seconds, and there's a difference in tyre compounds, but that's very interesting to see. So hopefully we get a good race. I'm expecting dry conditions, but you never know, do you? You never know.
Yeah, exactly. You never know. You never know, and it could be a wet race at Baku, but normally, statistically, you don't really see that here. So hopefully, we probably as commentators would like a wet race, but we're probably going to be in for a dry one. But still, a lot of things can happen in terms of the racing, and collisions can happen. But that is your classification for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Pelzery on pole, Danny in 2nd, Mike's got a penalty, so he's going to be down in sort of 8th place. Nathan Aitken in 4th, Pigeon Munch in 5th, Ginger Ninja in 6th, B.R. Hamilton in 7th, the Smasher in 8th, João Paulo in 9th, and 10th. I didn't see who 10th was, but there we go. That is Jork, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's your grid order, and I think, we've got different strategies. Jork starting on the medium tyre, and people outside the top 10, I'm sure, will do the alternate strategy. I don't see why you wouldn't do that from the outside the top 10. You'd probably want to try and roll the dice and do something different. It is cloudy out there for the race, so there's a chance for rain, but I don't think we're going to see it. But everybody will be running up now, and we'll start the formation lap, and we'll get the race underway. But I think qualifying, yeah, definitely was representative. A lot of people went for the soft tyre, and more people went for the soft tyre than the medium that was available. So it was a good qualifying from Pelzery and Danny. I think they did a great job. And you mentioned the gap to third place there. That was a gigantic gap, surprisingly, because this tier normally is pretty tight. So again, it's that element of making sure you hook up and qualifying, and maybe you could argue that Pelzery and Danny just took more risk on their qualifying laps and pushed to the absolute maximum, and they've done a better job, and maybe that level of risk has put them where they are. Nathan Aitken, who won last time out in China, is in third, so he's got a good shot at the race win potentially as well.
Yeah, what I was going to say is, well, maybe people are conserving their tyres in their qualifying lap, but I don't think that would be the case, really. You'd go for 100%. I think after qualifying now, we'll do a prediction. And just for the name, I want Pigeon Munch to win this race. He starts 4th, so I'm going to pick him just for the name, and he's in a decent position. Are you going to do a braver prediction than me, Dom, or...?
We're going to go for I think we're going to go with race win for Nathan Aitken again. He's going to repeat China with back-to-back wins. Danny and Pelzery might have a little bit of an issue together. Danny might have more speed in the opening laps and then overtake Pelzery, but it might end up in chaos. And I think we're going to see Jork come through from 10th. I think he's on that medium tyre, doing the alternate strategy. And the same with LCR model. So I think I'm going to go Nathan Aitken for the win. I'll go maybe Pigeon Munch second and Jork third. That's my top 3.
Yeah, that can sound reasonable. As you say, you don't know what can happen, especially the front row. I know Danny, last time out in Bahrain when I was commentating, was especially aggressive, and hopefully, it'd be very nice to see him have a win, out of league racing for quite a while and come back, probably not being as competitive as what he wanted. He was always one of the fastest drivers, and not saying he's slow by any stretch of the imagination, but he could always hang it out with the absolute top guys, so it's nice to see him, near the front again, and hopefully he can get a good result, just get a bit of confidence behind him. And then say Pelzery as well, he's starting to find a little bit more form now. Say pole position, pretty dominant pole position. I know it wasn't by a big gap, but the way he went out there and set them laps really early on, it must have been a big confidence booster for him, as they all do form up on the grid now. And I don't think there's going to be many issues. It'll be interesting to see, if they negotiate the first lap. Well, let's just quickly check the tyres for the people starting further back before we start this race.
The top 8 on softs. And then we've got mediums from 9th, 10th onwards. And they've got Mulder on the hard, and same with Midsley. So they've gone really, really hard to start with. So,
wow.
Interesting to see the strategy. Different strategies being played out, but we are ready to go racing here in Baku. We are going to start revving for 5 red lights here for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix, round 4 of the season. And it's lights out, and away we go. And it's a pretty even start from the top 2. But actually, you know what? Aitken's got not a bad start to it. It's nearly 3 rounds to turn 1. But Pelzery does lead the way from Danny in second. And then we've got Aitken in third, who's trying his absolute best to try and get past, going around the outside of turn 2. But that's nowhere to get past at the moment. It is going to be Danny in second place, just about holding on. But it's Pelzery, he leads the way. And a pretty clean start, you have to say, Joe. No one really made much contact, but it has in the background. It's Ninja who's gone straight on, I think, or Danny's gone straight on. No, it's Danny's gone straight on. He's gone off, and that's led to Pelzery leading the race. And I didn't see what happened there, Joe, but what happened there? Did Danny mess up his braking zone?
I didn't see the exact contact with Danny, but I see Pigeon Munch going to the back of him as well. He must have locked up. And interestingly, Pigeon Munch got a 5-second penalty for colliding with Danny after they both made the mistake. So, 2 of my picks, especially my main race winner pick, I don't think that's going to happen now. I don't think João Paulo made the race start. I can't see where his car is, as I think Smash has got past B.R. Hamilton in the castle section, so that's very interesting to see. Look at the gap between 3rd and 4th. Whatever's happened to Danny there has had a complete knock-on effect down the rest of the grid. So interesting to see that's all gone up, and thankfully most of them made it through. As Mike actually had a look at the inside of B.R. Hamilton, who's got a swarm of cars behind him, waiting to get by. As I think he has damage. Yeah, that Force India definitely has damage on his left-hand side of his front wing. So he's going to be agonising. So he can't even take this flat out. No, just look at the train he's got behind him. He can't even do that flat out. He's got Mike, Jork,
We've got other things to watch though, Joe. We've got Aitken going for a move on Pelzery into turn 1. So here we go. It's going to be the race lead. And it's going to be Aitken on the inside of Pelzery. And you know what? Pelzery doesn't even fight out too hard. But here it goes. He can cut back on Aitken as he's gone a little bit deeper. And it's Pelzery back into first place. Just about a good little scrap here. But he can get the better exit. Is it going to be Aitken who gets a better run? And you know what? He's got a pretty good run. He'll be using his ERS as much as he can down this straight. But is he close enough? He's too far back. Surely to go for a move on the inside. Here he goes on the inside for turn 3. And you know what? He's done that really well. He's blocked past Pelzery and he's into P1. So Aitken takes the lead here in Azerbaijan. But talking about behind, you mentioned the Force India of B.R. Hamilton. After having wing damage, is he pitted or he got a hard tie? He definitely has, hasn't he? Yeah. So he's caused a massive block from Mike onwards, hasn't he? A good 4-second gap between from Smasher actually onwards. Smasher's actually gone.
Oh,
so
dear.
Mike's a good 4 seconds off the top 3, isn't he?
He is. That's a shame for Smasher because he was running pretty well. He got through all the carnage. And say what B.R. Hamilton did because he actually had to lift.
Oh, yellow's out again. Who's it is? Pelzery. Yes, he has. He's made a mistake. No. He's got. I think he's hit off his front left end plate's gone. So he's obviously hit the inside barrier of the last part of the castle section. And he span it round and he's gone into that wall. So he's dropped now and he's spent that Nathan Aitken, who was my choice for victory. He's now in the lead by 1.6 seconds. So he's doing the bits. Mike's in 3rd now. Jork, who started down in 10th, is in 4th. So he's made his way through very nicely indeed. And Mr. Consistent is doing what he does normally, and he's in P4, and now even Mulder in P5. We talk about movers of the race, 4th and 5th for Jork and Mulder, down in, what, they were 10th and 11th to start the race, something like that. So,
12th by
great stuff by them.
Detail I've got here. Yeah, so I think Danny's in the pits as well, so whether he got damaged, I don't know, whether that's just a strategic change. I'm not too sure. He's gone on a set of medium tyres, so I'm not too sure what's happened there. Maybe he's going for a 2-stop.
I reckon he's rolled the dice, yeah. I think after that collision with, if it was a collision with Mr. Pigeon Munch that we didn't see, I'm pretty sure he would change the strategy up a little bit. As we've got, I think now Hayden is dropping down the old. Is he pitted too? No, he's actually off. He's gone deep. I think that's at turn 3. He's gone deep again. The escape road. So, yeah, he's gone off. He's trying to get his McLaren back round again. And he's back racing once again in 11th place. But people are, in these early stages, making those errors. Midzi, he came from the back of the grid. He's currently running 10th at the moment, and he's on that hard tyre. But, yeah, people are making those errors at the moment, Joe, aren't they? And it's so easy around here if you're not getting your eye in, as Fletcher is now right behind Aaron Dazzler, who was making all sorts of errors in qualifying. And it seems like Fletcher's got a little bit more, just a bit more pace than Aaron Dazzler at the moment. And he's looking to try and get a move done, but he's not able to do it yet. The gap between the top 2, 1.5 seconds. And as now, Fletcher's hit the wall, and I'm pretty sure he probably would have got some sort of end plate damage from that, because it was a bit of a hard hit.
Don't think he did get damaged, but he's very lucky. As I say, he was an absolutely awful qualifier, and so did Aaron. They both made multiple mistakes, I think. And to see them, running 6th and 7th, it just shows what a crazy first few laps we had. I mean, I'm surprised people just didn't take it easy for the first few laps. Get used to the full tanks as Mike has come into the pits. B.R. Hamilton, unsurprisingly, he's DNF'd. Whether he's just retired on track or actually crashed, I don't know. But yeah, you would have thought people would try and take it easy the first few laps, just, get your eyeing, heavy fuel, cold tyres, whatever else. But no, it's not happened as Mulder's all over the back of Jork. Mulder on the hard tyres, and he's fighting for Jork in 3rd place.
It's nearly done, but Jork's not going to give it up yet, and it's round the outside, and you know what? Mulder could not pull it off. He tried it. But, yeah, for now, Jork hangs on. But is he struggling on those softs? That's what I'm wondering. Has he got a little bit of understeer in that car? On the medium, sorry. Yeah. He's looking all right. The car's looking good. He's not looking too bad. Maybe he's just pace.
Powell's just coming to pits and retired, so, from pole, from 0 to 0, really, really quick. So maybe Jork's playing a bit of the long game here, just conserving tyres, getting into that rhythm. As I say, he is consistent. You rarely see him make any mistakes. He is so going into the wall now, I've said that. But I say Mulder, he's always been very quick as Mulder, but very inconsistent as well. I think this is one of them races where he is starting to come on song a little bit, especially in the hards. He's going to have great pace in the next few laps. I'm surprised he's actually that quick already. It'd be interesting to see as well how long Nathan and Ninja can go on them soft tyres. Are the only real front runners now on them tyres. Mitzi somehow got a 3-second penalty. I don't know how you get one round this track. I really don't. How do you cut corners? I really don't know. There's a
doing
wall
his
in the
Sierra
way.
Ricardo lines. He's deploying my initiative. But here comes Mulder going for it round the outside. York into turn 1. Is he going to make it stick this time round? And I'm pretty sure he's done it. Yeah, he's done that. It's a good move. Textbook DRS move round the outside. And there we go. It looks like to me he's got a bit more better grip. He's got a bit more confidence on that hard tyre. They're coming into their own, but Jork isn't going to give up yet. He's closing back up in the DRS, goes to the right-hand side, and does he outbrake him? He has outbroken him around the outside, and it's wheel-to-wheel once again for turn 3, and it's going to be the inside line for turn 4, but Mulder makes it a little bit later. Mulder's gone into the wall, and Jork stays in 3rd place. Excellently stays in 3rd. So, but these two, if they continue to scrap, they're losing time to Ginger Ninja in front, who's got a bit of a margin now, so Ginger Ninja and Nathan Aiken have got a little bit of a buffer now to everybody behind, and they're in their own sort of race. But the main challenge now, the main race here is for that 3rd place at the moment.
Yeah, and it's interesting that Aaron is starting to catch up to this battle as well. I'm really surprised Jork got that move done, because it wasn't very close to Mulder at all, and I don't even think he intended it. Mulder just braked really early there on the inside line for turn 3. And I say, I think he locked up through 4 as well, which allowed Jork to just get away with it. So interesting that Mulder just seemingly gave up the position as Mike has got past Mitzi. Has Mitzi made a mistake? I don't know if he... I think Mitzi's got damage because he's not flat out through these corners. He's let Danny by. So Mitzi must have hit the wall in the castle section. Yeah, look how slow he's going. He's picked up damage from something we haven't seen yet. No yellow flag came out, so
let's have a look at Mulder now on Jork. It's going to be another move again to turn 1, is it? Done? Surely it's done. He's got it past, but Jork again will try and counter-attack on the Toro Rosso, and he'll try and set himself up for turn 2, and then obviously get a better exit. You never know. He could do it again, so let's see. Gets out the turn 2. Not a great exit in comparison to Mulder, and I think Mulder surely has got this one covered. There's now Danny just fast for race, gets to DHL with a 42.929. But Mulder has finally got the move and made it stick against Jork for now. But those hards seemingly coming into their own at the moment. But Jork, he's staying with him. He's not letting him go yet, and he does close in quite a bit actually in the braking zone. So he's looking a little bit more confident under the braking. At the moment compared to the Toro Rosso driver, but it'll stay behind him. He's got another chance if he can get a good run through the middle sector, and he could even have another go in the DRS zone himself into turn 1. So again, it's all about the counter attack. But the car section looks like Mulder's starting to pull it now a little bit, and you know what? He has increased that gap a little bit. That's growing and growing. That's probably now what, an 8/10 gap he's got, and the 6/10 gap. So it is growing. It's still within DRS. It's all about getting a better exit for Jork. Jork, if he wants to get back in front, he's got a good chance here. And you know what? He's close here. He needs a good exit through the last proper corner on the circuit. And if he gets that run, he's going to set himself up here. And you know what? I think he's got not a bad run here. He's only 6 cents back. So with DRS and the ERS deployment, and a little bit of fuel-rich mix, he's probably got an opportunity. He's quite far back, but he's going to have the DRS. Let's see if he closes up enough. I think it probably isn't going to be enough. Yeah, he's going to stay behind, I think. He's not going to have it. Yellow 2 again. Who's that? Is that Hayden?
He's reversing through the castle section. That's not how you do it, man. It's all gone wrong for Hayden. And to be quite honest, it's just not been the best season for him at all at the moment. It's a shame to see. I think Jork might just be playing the long game here because he didn't close up at all on Mulder. So look at the gap between Ninja and Mulder now. That has pretty much halved over the past lap. So whether Ninja has got damage or his tyres are just completely going off. I think his tyres are going off. You just go on board with him here through the slower corners. You can see him struggling to get onto the power. Yeah, it's just really slow getting onto it. And say his tyres have definitely gone. I think George is playing the long game there, maybe conserving a bit of energy, just staying behind. He'd rather be, the one following, and say the gap between Nathan and Ninja is not really changed.
Castle, look at him. He's struggling, isn't he? He's struggled through the castle section. So I think, I think there's a good opportunity for Mulder to get past the Haas Unless the Haas chooses the pit, which I would say just get it done. Pit now. I don't think it's worth it. And Aiken ahead is also struggling. He's actually kind of in the wall there. He's now a 2-second gap, so I think maybe
Has he gone off?
Aiken
He's gone
made
off.
a mistake. He's gone off. This is it, boys.
He's got a
off.
puncture.
He is really. He's got a puncher, and it's going to be Ginger Ninja who leads, but it's Mulder who's going to get him. It's a collision. They're both collided. They're off the circuit. Well, they're not off the circuit. They're on the circuit still, but they're in the barriers. Jork is going to try and stay way away from it all. Aaron Dazzler has been the opportunities beast that he is, and he's going to get into the lead of the race and just avoid all the chaos. But Jork isn't going to stay behind too long, or is he? He's going to stay behind for turn 1, but... what happened there? It was Nathan Aitken with a puncher, and then Mulder and oh dear, I don't even know.
Nathan's retired.
Mulder made contact with Ginger Ninja
going into the pits. I think Nathan's crashed going into the pits with that puncture. As I say, I don't know if we got that through tyre wear or through damage, but it just didn't look right at all. I think he's crashed on the entrance. Don't quote me on that, but
yeah,
it wouldn't make sense for him to just retire.
He lost so much time in that sort of the middle, towards the end of the middle sector, after that blind left-hander. I saw him in the wall, so I'm pretty sure he's hit the wall, got a puncher from it, and he survived. But obviously he had the puncher, and he just was everywhere, and he just went deep into that last proper corner. And then from there, it was just like he just lost so much time and positions, and then he's come into the pit lane, tried to slow it down seemingly, and just understeered into the wall. Maybe that's probably what he's done. Because that's how the cars react when they have a puncher. You can't get them completely. You have to enter in really slowly. So that's what I'm assuming has happened here. But this has put Jork in a great position to lead the race. He's right behind Aaron Dazzler, who took the opportunity whilst Jork and whilst Mulder was kind of messing around with Ginger Ninja, who had also seemingly just hit the wall at some point. He just understeered or something. He probably may have had a puncher, maybe. Too, and it's now Jork's opportunity to take the lead if he wants it against Aaron Dazzler, who has had a cracker and just taking the opportunity. So here comes Jork now in the slipstream, but you know what? He's not. Yeah, he ain't going for it here. I don't think he's going to close up, but he's just too far back. So it's going to have the waiting game. Seemingly, Jork's just playing it careful. But let's talk about. Go on.
I was going to say, considering everything else has gone around him, who can blame him for taking it easy and being careful? All I want to say.
It's not worth it, is it?
No.
It's not worth it. If you think about it, like, what he just witnessed, he was like, you know what, I'm not getting involved in this. I'm staying to the right. And that's what he did. And that's a pure example of potentially the experience he's had over time. You know, he's been racing for a bit of time now, Jork, and he's just consistent. He's probably just watching out for these things. He can just, and it's just the wise game. You know, it's not worth it. This truck isn't worth the risk. Because it's just like you can make errors anywhere, and you've just seen it for two drivers on the same lap. They've both made errors, and it's caused issues for others. But Jork just kept himself clean. Yeah, he potentially lost the lead from that because Dazzler got past and took the opportunity, but he had no choice. He had to speak. He was in the middle of it all. So fair play to Jork, just keeping his nose clean and doing what he needs to do. And again, here he's just going to sit behind Aaron Dazzler. He's no rush because he's got the good gap to Fletch behind him. So. Fair play to him. But let's talk about Nathan Aitken. He was on for another victory again, and all gone sour, hasn't it? He was on for a double back-to-back victories, but it's gone from him, which is a shame.
That's what Baku does to you, though. And just a bit of a shout-out to Fletcher, who had one of the worst qualifyings I've seen on a racing game for quite a while. He's running P3 in this race. I know there's an awfully long way to go and he's not pitted, but the fact he has hauled himself back up there was quite incredible. And the fact that Danny and Mike, after everything which have gone on, they're not even too far off the podium. I know they'll probably have to pit again. I can't imagine they're going to get to the end. But yeah, Aaron Dazzler, who I think on that lap where everything kicked off, can't remember if it was lap 7 or lap 8 now, I think it was lap 7, he entered that long straight in 5th, and about 10 seconds later he was 1st. How much must he have been smiling behind whatever device he uses, wheel or controller, I don't know. Can you imagine if that happened to you as
Baron's
Aiden?
Gone. Hayden's had another there. I think, Hayden's just trying to stay in this race to get a point. Because, even if you stay in this race, It's possible, man. You know, if you just stay in this race, you've still got a shot at a point or two. 100%.
Well,
Like, if we've seen, what, 3 people get knocked out already and we're lap 10? I
and
wouldn't put it
Smash
past
has got an
another team all
AI
going.
as well. Must be worth noting. Smash's
Yeah,
AI is going to
yeah.
get a point. Right, it can't get a
Crazy.
point. That wouldn't be allowed. I mean, you know, if you lag out and, you know, get a result, you know, you're not allowed your points. No matter where you start and where it is on the race. What a shocking rule that
Everything
is,
sort
by the
of,
way. Well, you've seen that, haven't
innit?
you?
Yeah, yeah.
Bit of common sense. Come on, lads. I know you've got me blocked, but come on. Bit of common sense there. It was the last lap, near enough. His AI got third, for God's sake. As Jork has pitted. He just about made it.
Yeah.
Aaron stayed out there. Fletcher's going to come in as well. So Jork, interestingly, going for the undercut here. Whether that's going to work, I can imagine the hards are quite difficult to get up to temperature. But Jork
They
now,
are.
he was
They're
about
not a great
second
tyre.
behind.
We saw it in China. That hard tire isn't great. I mean, if you stay out there, if you stay out there 2 laps longer than your opposition, it kind of can work. But if it's a lap, you're going to struggle with the heat cycle on that tire. So he's going to have to get a banging out lap in order to kind of get the undercut done on Aaron Dazzler. And Aaron Dazzler was pulling it. He was nearly a second the gap by the time Jork came into the pit lane. So he's got everything to do here. Has the McLaren driver to get it done. But meanwhile, talk about Mercedes boys, they're pretty close in proximity to each other. They're 1.3 away from one another, and they're running 3rd and 4th. And as you mentioned earlier, Joe, I mean, after Danny's very unlucky, probably turn 3 that he had, I think, you know, he's in a good position here, but they're both going to have to box it again. But in this race, you never know what can happen. Again, the people in front can make a mistake as somebody else has made an error.
Hayden, I think.
Hayden.
Again.
And has he lost his front wing? Or is he okay? He's okay. No,
I think he's okay, but no, he has lost front wing.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
But you know what? Continue on, Hayden. Please. Because I think, you know, he's definitely got that opportunity of still getting a point or two, because yellow's again into the 2, it's probably him again.
Danny made a mistake. Look how close Mike is to him.
Oh,
Wait,
look at them. He's let him go. He's let him go. He's let him have it.
Yeah, I don't think Danny's actually got damage, but he's letting go Aaron in the pits. That's not a shock at all. Oh no, Danny, what? Huh?
Yeah, I just seen that on my screen. I've right on board with Danny, and he just teleported backwards. He's in the... Was that a screen freeze, potentially? Maybe?
That's a big screen freeze.
If he's had one, that's strange. He's down in 9th now. He was side by side with Mike.
Anyway, back to the battle for the lead. Before we get confused, or the effective lead, Jork's come out roughly around the same gap to Aaron Dazzler as Hayden. Oh, I think he's actually crashed. I don't think he would have retired under his own skin. That's unfortunate. So the gap stayed the same, hopefully.
Oh, Danny's gone.
Danny's gone as well. Oh, what is going on in this race? So Aaron's got to get his tyres up to temperature, and Jork, look at him, he's closed up the gap through sort of the first sector. Interesting to see as well if he can catch up. Can Aaron get his tyres at temperature? But he's definitely within striking range as it is now in F1. What a term. But he's definitely there, so whether he can stick with him throughout the stint, say Aaron did look a bit strong near the end of the stint. Whether he's better in his tyres or not, I don't know. But he's going to be well there. Can Aaron get DRS potentially off Mike in front? He's just over a second now. It's just
close.
Under a second. Yeah, he's going to have that. Mike's lagging a little bit as well. Hopefully that doesn't play into anyone's hands there. So let's see. I think Aaron actually made a bit of a mistake there, going a bit wide through the final corner. Jork's got a very good run there, but I don't think he's going to be able to do much because of the DRS, which is a bit of a shame there. So going forward, is Mike going to pit and start? No, he's going to continue for a little bit. Jamie in the pits, that isn't a shock, because he has been on them. I don't know if he was on them all race or he pitted lap 1. I think he was one of the people which pitted lap 1. It's so difficult to keep track of this.
It was pretty far back. You know what? He ain't in a bad position either. I mean, where is he going to be out in the pit lane? He's going to be... He's come out the exit now. He's going to be...
Fletcher's had a problem. at turn 1. Sorry to
Already.
interrupt. He went a bit wide at turn 1. He's got back out on track now. Potentially going for a move on Ninja because he's not even that far behind him. So, yeah, he's not come out in a bad position. Especially considering he's definitely going to be able to get to the end on them tyres. He's going to have no problems at all. He shouldn't have. But
Yeah, and you got to think that Mike's got to pit again. I'd say Mulder, he's going to have to pit again, surely. He's on the soft, so he ain't lasting until the 13 laps. Mr. Pigeon Munch, I doubt he's going to go to the end on that. So Jamie's in a nice position, I'd say, in a pretty luxurious position in terms of points. I think he's got a shot at 6th place at least here, if things all things run well for him. But talk about gaps and everything like that. I mean, look, the gap. Mike leads from Dazzler in 2nd now, and he's actually managed to get past him. Actually, no, he's not actually. No, he's stayed behind him. But for now, it's just kind of a bit, they're all going to be in their each other's DRS. They're all going to be just slipstream each other. I don't think there's going to be much of an overtake going on here, unless Dazzler can get close to the mic, but the gap's 9/10 of a second. It's not a great gap to have in terms of DRS, because he's not going to close. He's going to close up on him, but he's not going to make a move into turn 1. He's too far back. So Mike's not in a bad position, as now Mulder's pitted again, and I'm sure he's going to go on a set of hard tyres to the end. If you want to go to the end,
maybe mediums.
Maybe mediums. Yeah. Maybe. Let's see what he does on to.
Fletcher's got
medium,
Ninja there for 4th place on track now. And Fletcher's... that's very interesting. He's got a 3-second time penalty there. Ninja slightly hit him and Fletcher just went slightly off track as a result. So I can imagine that warning
and he's
getting
not
removed.
got a great exit either. Actually, Ninja's going to get moved back on him. Here he goes. On the inside. And it's done. That's it. The move's done. I think. Oh, they hit each other as and Fletch gives him a little bit of a nudge at the rear end, but there we go. It's the Haas stays in 4th for now, but look at that. Fletch gets a better run. Does he go for it? No, he doesn't. It's not an overtaking opportunity this next set of corners, so he'll have to stay behind the Haas for now. But the gap's 14 seconds to P3. So here comes Jork here. Jork right behind Aaron Dazzler. He does have more pace. He just hasn't unleashed it yet. And he's just sitting behind there, waiting for his opportunity. And there's no rush. He's not in any hurry at the moment. He's got 12 more laps to go. There's plenty of life left in this race. There's no point running the risk. And at the moment, Mike's going to have to pit again. And Aaron Dazzler and Jork don't need to. So in terms of fighting Mike, they just want to leave Mike to do his thing. And then they'll obviously then fight it out. I think that's probably what they're both waiting for, really.
Yeah, they must know Mike is in the pits as well. Well, he's going to have to go into the pits,
sorry. Now, isn't he? He's going left. Yeah. I'm pretty sure he's in now, isn't he? Yeah, there we go. So there is Dazzler and Jork get released, and they can go and scrap it out for the final 11 laps of this race. So it is, the race win is between these two boys, and what a drive these two boys have had, really.
You never know. With this track and this race, how it's unfolded, it should be a straight battle between these two. I hope it's a straight battle between these two. But you never know, do you?
You wouldn't put money on it. You know, if it was China or any other circuit, you know, you'd probably be more likely to put money on it. But yeah, here you just don't know. As you mentioned, the walls are there waiting for you. If you make a mistake, you lock up, off you go. See you later, mate. So it is going to be about just, again, who can keep it clean. I think Jork is playing the conservative game. He has done it all race. He can unleash that a bit of aggression now in the final 10 laps if he wishes, but obviously there is a detriment there. And why would you want to risk it at this point? You're sitting behind Dazzler, you're in the DRS at the activation point. You don't really need to go for it, do you? I mean, you're going to have a good opportunity if he gets a good run through that last proper corner anyway. But he is there. He's 5/10 back. Just needs to stay there with him.
What is interesting to note is where Mike has come out and actually the battle he is in, because that battle for the final podium position is going to be absolutely manic in the last 2 laps. You've got Fletcher who is all over the back of Ninja. And say Ninja's got quite old tyres. He's going to have very old tyres near the end of the race. Michael Fresh Mediums has come out just behind him to a Mulder who has looked very quick at parts of this race. Has also got a fresh set of mediums as well, as Mitzi gets a time penalty. I think Ninja, has he dropped behind Fletcher to get DRS, or has he genuinely made that mistake? I didn't quite see that. That's genius if he's done that. because he's now got a very good run. Look at the gaps between them. Less than 2 attempts. Oh, this could be interesting.
This could be bad. It's 3 wide, isn't it? Yes, it's going to be 3 wide. So here comes Mike forward
Look
to
at
the left-hand
Mulder.
side completely.
No, it's going to be. I thought it was going to be 4 wide. As Mike has he outbroken himself.
Move on the inside, but Mulder's looking at the inside for Ginger Ninja, and he's going to be in 4th place. There we go. Nicely done by Mulder, just keeping it clean and just careful. So here it's now him versus Mike for that final podium spot, isn't it? I'd say. I mean, then again, you never know. It's Baku, so here comes Mulder right in there. He's looking, but it's just not.
Oh,
it's not
Ginger,
worth it.
no.
He's been hit.
Oh, Ginger Ninja, he absolutely outbroke himself. Went into the back of Mulder. Say Mulder half spun. Ninja with damage. Fletch driving past the pair of them. And Mike now with effectively a free run into 3rd place. Now I can expect him to stay there, barring any mistake. But, Mulder's going to be absolutely furious, and who can blame him there? He had the move done. He had everything sorted. And, oh, dearie me, that's just a bit of a lapse in concentration there. So maybe Mulder can get by Fletch and potentially catch up to Mike, but considering the gap now, I think that's going to be very hard to do. He's got an amazing run here. Is he going to try down the inside? He is, and he's got that done. I think Fletch recognised.
He's hit the wall though, and Fletch will just let him have it. But Fletch is going to set himself up for the DRS again. So this is not over yet, Joe. Here he goes. He's got a nice run, and if he wants to get it done again to turn 1 and do the counter attack on him, he's got a shot here. Here he goes. So he's going to be, 4 and a bit tenths off. He's going to have the DRS, so it's a chance. So here he goes in the DRS. Mulder trying to break that DRS by weaving a little bit on the straight to try and make sure he doesn't get the full effect of it. And no, the Ferrari driver just stays behind for now. So Mulder into 4th. He did hit the wall slightly, but I think he's going to be okay. But he's a 2.8 second gap to Mike now, and you said that. Yeah, Mike's going to be in a very comfortable position as now Aaron... No, we missed it, mate. Jork's got past Aaron Desler. We didn't see that overtake for the lead. So, yep, as I was talking away, lovely. But there you go. Jork takes the lead, and we mentioned earlier about him just being careful, not really taking any risks. He's obviously just stayed behind Dazzler, looked for the best opportunity, used the DRS to his benefit, and look at him now. He's going to start pulling the gap. It's now nearly a second, the gap. Now 2 seconds. As Dazzler seemingly, he made an error somewhere. He has. He's understeering. He's lost a bit of front left end plate. Ah, no.
Oh, has he? Oh, no.
He has. So I reckon he's made an error. That's why he's now in 2nd place. I don't think it's been an overtaking on circuit. I think it's generally been an error, and Jork's been able to get past him. So it means that Mike Marshmallow will be in 2nd place after all of this. Aaron's probably going to have the pit. I'm sure he's going to be understeering like an absolute pig.
Virtual safety car. VSC. I'm surprised we haven't had that already.
This is probably going to help Dazzler. He can pit in. He'll get out probably down the order a little bit, probably around a 4th or 5th potential. I mean, he might even rejoin
he might get out of Mike.
He might be it's 17 seconds, isn't it? So he's got a shot here. Front wing change. Let's see how things go. So a set of medium tyres, front wing change. It's going to take a little bit longer than you'd like to be, and you'd probably be wanting to try and get out of the pit lane as soon as possible because it's a long wait.
Oh,
he's going to be
back to racing speed, but as I say, it's not. He's still going to be in around the fight. And fresh mediums, considering the pace he's had, I can expect him to catch up to this battle. What is the gap going to be? It says 4 seconds. Give that a bit of time to readjust. Probably around 4.5 by the time he exits turn 2. 4.3, so behind the next car of Fletch, and I can imagine he's going to catch that gap up quite quickly considering the tyre difference. So yeah, Mike now I said he's going to have an easy run to P3. He's in P2, but I wouldn't call this an easy run, because I think Mulder's made about a second on that restart, and gap was around 2.7, 2.8. It's less than it's 1.6 now, so 1.5. So whether Mulder's kept his tyres in better shape, he's got a lot more deployment as Mulder. Keep that in mind. So I think he might potentially catch up. Jork now with a commanding lead as Fletch absolutely battered the wall on the car, so he did very well not to actually get damaged there. Yeah, Jork with a commanding lead now. All he has to do is coast that home in the next 8 laps. He's got Ginger Ninja
Exactly.
all over the back of Jamie. I did notice when Ninja pitted, Jamie come out just behind him and managed to get him on the run to turn 3. So he's going to have a lot more pace now. He's got them mediums up to temperature. And yeah, which will be very interesting to see. The gap's into a second between Mulder and Mike. Has Mike got damage? Because it seems
I don't think so.
Can't be that slow, can it?
He's slow. The gap went down to 6 tenths and then grew again to a second, so I don't think he might have a little bit of an end plate damage. It's very, you can get the green, we call it the green damage now, where you don't detect it. It's, you can feel it, but you can't. It's not on the HUD. It's not on the display saying you've got damage. You can feel it in the steering. So you might have a little bit of that, and that does cause problems. So he might have that because the gap is close. You know what? He's got a good run, but he won't risk it into turn 3. It's not worth it. So he can sit behind Mike now and just wait for it. I mean, he's got a big gap. Mike Jork's way out of... He's out there now and doing his own thing. Jork's just got to make sure he keeps it all together. And I think if you take your foot off the pedal too much around here, you can still make the error. Because if you relax at all, I think there's still a chance of making the error and going into the wall. But as long as just Jork keeps his concentration, he's got this one wrapped up. He's done it. So... and he's led the victory for a bit now. And Jork's looking very good for it. But... again, 7 more laps to go. If you make a mistake, it's done and dusted. As now Aaron Dazzler gets past Fletch, so he's on the move, isn't he? And Joe, as you mentioned, on those fresher medium tyres, he's going to be closing up. He's got a 7-second gap to Mulder, so he's got a good opportunity in terms of even getting back on that podium again, I think. As now Mulder gets a penalty, so yeah, definitely a good opportunity for Dazzler if he wants it, because Mulder's really hit that inside curb on the left-hand side pretty hard, and he's got a good run on Mike now, but it's all pressure because he's going to have to get past Mike and extend the lead that he needs, and Mike is understeering a little bit through. I think he definitely does have some sort of damage or even the lightest of contact, because here he goes on the left hand side of Mike now, and Mulder's got that move done, I'd say. I think it's done and dusted, but Mike will tuck back into that toe again and try again, hopefully, but yeah, he ain't going to do it into turn 1, so Mulder takes 2nd place, but we're looking to try and extend that as much as he can, so he's safe on that. But Dazzler, I think, definitely has an outside shot at that final podium position, as Mike is almost scrumming it out of turn 2 and putting on the power as much as he could. He's closing back up to Mulder again, but yeah, he's too far back to make a move into turn 3, and I'll stay behind and can see that position for now. But there we go, Mulder now in 2nd, 17 seconds of gap, and you do sense that Jork's turned everything down a little bit now, just going to bring it home and just make sure you just keep the concentration. That's all you can do at this point. If you do that, you're golden, basically. But yeah, the gaps, everyone's in their own little bubble, I'd say. I think everyone's kind of in their own, after people have kind of left and crashed, everyone's kind of in their own race now. We've got Ginger Ninja and Jamie close together, and if anything, Ginger Ninja's putting a lot of pressure on Jamie, and Jamie's kind of pit stop. He's actually on the hard again. He's pitted again, isn't he? No, he hasn't. He's actually generally on that hard tyre because of strategy, and he's really not. He's not enjoying those hard tyres because he's got Ginger Ninja for company completely all over the back end of him. So that's not going to be nice for him. Having a whole load of just ass in the rear mirrors, and he's going to have to be careful because Ginger Ninja's going to get a good run if he's not careful. And you know what? I think I'd probably bet against Jamie actually keeping hold of that position because Ginger Ninja's right there with him. And he's obviously enjoying those medium tyres a lot more, getting better grip out of them. But I do put Ginger Ninja to get that position away from Jamie, and it is close now. It's under half a second. It's got a good opportunity. Mike's staying within half a second of Mulder now. The gap's only half a second, so looking like Mulder hasn't been able to keep, hasn't been able to gain that gap. And maybe Mike doesn't have that damage that we think he has. Maybe just general grip that he has in the car. But now Ginger Ninja come really close to Jamie now. So here he comes, DRS activate. But Jamie has DRS on I think it's, it's Smash's AI. So he's got DRS on now, which you could argue why should have the benefits. As he's hit Jamie, and off they go. And that ended very badly again.
Oh.
Ginger Ninja hit somebody on circuit, and Jamie luckily managed to save it almost. And whether he got damage or not, it doesn't look like he's got anything on the front wing on that Red Bull. So I think he's okay. He hasn't got any damage. But another example of Ginger Ninja breaking a lot later and it going wrong, I think. And Not ideal. You don't want to be doing that. I think that's, you're not going to make many friends if you keep doing that to other people. So not great
No.
for Jamie or Ginger Ninja in that sense, particularly Jamie because he's lost a little bit of time now to Pigeon Bunch, but I'm sure Jamie probably wouldn't be very happy with that as now Ginger Ninja gets past Jamie nearly, actually around the outside, so Jamie's made an error, or has he got a damage? You never know, so let's keep with Ginger Ninja and Jamie because they are our closest battle on circuit apart from Mike and Mulder. Now through the last part of the castle, and you can see that Jamie's, I think generally Ginger Ninja has a lot more grip, but he wants to get this move done a little bit better than he did. And Jamie's looking very vulnerable even earlier, and when you look at that, Ginger Ninja looks to the inside, but no, stays behind for now, not another kicking opportunity at all. Now needs to set himself up for the last proper corner and get a good run. If he gets this run, it's going to be a good opportunity to get it done into turn one, and that's what he should have done earlier on, being more careful and more patient. And now here we go, through the flat left and then the flat right once again. And he's going to be in that slipstream even before the DRS. And he'll be using all the DRS he's got and the ERS deployment that he has left. So here he comes. It has got to be a done deal into someone surely. He's closing and closing and closing. But it's not as much as you think. So it's going to be tight into turn one. He's got to go for it on the brakes. And that he's done up into the next
position in
7th place. But he's gone deep. It's Jamie who now gets back on him. And again, Ginger Ninja going deeper into that turn one, and it's causing problems. He's going a lot more deeper on the brakes, braking a lot later. Now he's got DRS again. Has he got another opportunity to turn three? So here he comes, he's touching. Is he going to go for it on the inside? He's going to brake later. Yes, no, he's going to go for it on the inside.
No.
The gap closes, and he's gone round. He saves it. These two keep making the contact, and it's not good. These two, if they continue like the way they're playing, it can end badly, and it's not what they need to be doing at this point.
No, and I think any chance they've got of getting any further points is going to be God. Say Ninja's braking ambition is far outweighing his braking talent at the moment. And say that half-hearted move into turn three is always going to cause some sort of instances. Jamie's clouted the wall there. So
I think he's vulnerable here. I think this is going to be it. I think he must have got some sort of pickup from that. Or it's just going to ruin his momentum because Ginger Ninja's right there again and he's close again. Is he going to go for it? Surely not. No, he does play it wise through some corners and will go absolutely mad on the brakes and others. So now the last corner last proper corner on circuit before the fast sweeping right, left, right section. He's close behind again. It's going to be another opportunity. Surely to get past the Red Bull driver, and it's got to be done now. And you know what? He's going to get it done even before the DRS. So surely he can get it stopped for turn one and not go deep again. And this is done, I think, surely now. It's wheel to wheel still. Ooh. And there he goes.
Yeah,
the move's done. Let's see. Does he go through turn one okay? Yes. No, he doesn't. He goes deep, just about. I think Jamie went deep too, so they both keep hold. They stay where they are. There's no more wheel bagging. There's no more whatever you want. There's nothing else of that. No more contact. So for now, Ginger Ninja in 7th place. That he should have had probably a couple of laps ago.
Yeah, I'm just glad that they've made it through and they've not ended each other's races, which is good. What is slightly interesting, I know the gaps are sort of built up now between second and third. Fletch definitely has damage and is on aging hard tyres. I think it's a bit too much to ask, but Pigeon Munch is closing that gap down quickly. I don't think there's enough laps left in this race to do anything about it, unfortunately. So I think it's just about going to hold on. Say Aaron is just there in 4th, just going around. So really, I think Jamie's dropped back as well. Yeah, over a second is that gap now. So Ninja finally being able to get by and pace of them fresher mediums really paying dividends now. And Mulder, he did it like he had a bit more pace than Mike, and it's starting to show now. So I think this might be a case of everyone's just going to accept where they are and just get to the end, because I can't imagine any more battles happening unless someone makes a major mistake in this race. I think the people who are quicker than others have managed to get themselves ahead, which is good for them, I suppose, but not good for us, because the last 3 laps have the potential to be a bit boring.
Indeed, mate, indeed. And the gap, actually, talking about gaps, Jork's gap was 17, now it's 12. You can definitely tell he's lifted off that throttle. He isn't pushing that McLaren at all. So he's bringing it home for what is a calculated victory. I think that's the best way of putting it. He's calculated it. He's been just very wise again, and it's proved that his consistency is paying off. And again, it's another race where he just kept it clean, and he just kept his nose clean, and it's paid off again. He's going to get another good result, extend his championship lead that he's got, and gain his first victory of the season, which I think is fully deserved after China, because he was pretty close to doing it there too. So, yeah, we've got a bit of a boring last few laps to go, and the race has been, I think, a little bit. Oh, have we? Yeah.
I was just about to say, I just remember Mulder's got that 3-second penalty. I know the gap's 2.1, but if Mike should know by this point, you know, you can always ask about the person in front or the person behind. He might know Mulder's got 3-second penalty. If he can just keep that gap there, he's going to get it. Mulder should be on the podium, but which step is he going to be on? Step 2 or 3, or even first? You never know. But I think George is a bit too smart.
Mulder is obviously pushing really hard, so because you can tell that the gap's grown, so he is putting in trying to put in the laps that he can to keep that second place. It's now 2.5 seconds nearly, so the gap is growing. Now Fletcher's a 3-second time penalty, so this is going to be an interesting run to the last few lap and a half. So we might get a little bit of something to commentate over here, because these two will probably be driving flat out at this point to try and battle for that second place here.
And interesting, Fletcher gets that penalty. But in the 3 seconds, Pigeon Munch is definitely going to get it under 3 seconds. It's 3.3, and he's been well over a second a lap quicker the last few laps. So he's going to get that position at least 3 penalties. In fact, Fletcher has 2 penalties, so that is a slam dunk as far as positions go. Is he going to be able to keep 6th at the very least? Yes, he is. He should. He really, really should. Unless he, encounters major problems. So all Mike needs to do is keep that gap below 3 seconds. We're looking at 2.9. And it's just got over 3 now, so I think he's hoping for a Mulder mistake here, because he's just not been able to live with the pace of Mulder, and say the 3-second time penalty is going to be close, but I think he's just going to be able to have it, as Jork has started his final lap. And as I say, you said it was calculated, just kept his head cool when others around him have made major mistakes. I mean, I had a bit of doubts over his strategy. Starting down in 10th, was it the correct thing to do? Especially being in the mid-pack with everything which has happened around him. But he's just been in the right place at the right time, backed off when he needed to. And say, when the top 2 crashed at the time of Nathan and... I can't remember who else it was now.
Nathan, Ginger Ninja, and... Yeah, it was Mulder together, wasn't it?
George just hung back. It looked like it was a safety car because of the way he hung back, but he could sense the danger and just didn't go for it. I know Aaron got past him, but say Aaron's fallen by the wayside as well. I know he's in 4th. That's the nature of this race. He's made a major mistake and is going to get good points. I should think everyone behind George really has made a mistake. I think even Mulder too stopped in this race, and indeed he has. So the only person with a trouble-free race is going to, I think, pick up the win, Dom. And as I say, further extending his championship lead, it's going to be quite something, really, at the top of the standings, considering Nathan's DNF. So, indeed, I'll let you take it away.
There he comes now, rounding up the final few corners now. And it's been, as we've all mentioned and praised him for, a great drive by Jork. And he is going to run to the line now for his first victory of the season in ILR. He comes across the line and he wins in Baku. And it's a great race win from him. Well done to Jork. He wins first race of the season for him. And here he comes now, Mulder. Gonna be holding on for second place in the end. And that's good. A good podium there. I think he'll take that. And Mike narrowly misses out on second, I think, in the end. Yeah, he does. By 8 tenths of a second. Dazzler comes home in 4th place, and I think he'll be slightly disappointed. He had a good shot at podium there, and definitely had a good shot at second place, at least, the minimum. Fletcher now is coming around the final straight now, and he's going to be going home for 5th place, 10 points in the bag, considering where he started. I think he'll take that result in the end. Or does he? Because it depends about Pigeon Munch, because Pigeon Munch might get on podium, and he does do it on penalty. So Pigeon Munch takes 5th ahead of Fletcher in 6th. Ginger Ninja, Again, a race of what could have been. He was running second early on, and after that, towards the end of this soft stint at lap 7, it all went a little bit wrong for him. So, unfortunately for him, he'll come home in 7th place. Actually, if anything, I think he came out in 8th because of penalties, because Jamie has just taken 7th away from him. So, that has been your race at Baku, and it was a bit of a chaotic one in the first sort of half of the race. Everything was going off and kicking off, particularly at the end of lap 7, and we had a bit of a spicy race for the first half, and then it all kind of settled down. But that's been your race at Azerbaijan. It's a win number 1 for Jork, and further extending his championship lead, and back-to-back podiums. China 2nd place, here in 1st. And I'm sure he'll be thoroughly proud of that. And again, definitely driver of the day. Kept it clean, kept his head, used that experience that he has, and he won the race. Fair play, absolutely fair play, and congratulations to him. And we'll see what he says in the podium interviews at the end of the race. But let's run down through the classification here. So it's Jork who wins here in Baku, ahead of LCR Mulder in 2nd place, and 3rd for Mike Marshmallow. That's your top 3. Aaron Dazzler in 4th place, and 5th place for Mr. Pigeon Munch. Fletch in 6th, and Jamie in 7th place. GSY Ginger Ninja in 8th, and that is kind of your final finishes. I mean, Smasher finished a lap down, but that was his AI, so I'm sure that won't be counted. Midzi in 10th place, he DNF'd out the race, and Danny M7, LCR Hayden, Nathan Aitken, Fat Pelzery, and B.R. Hamilton all DNF'd very early on in the first half of the race. So that has been your Azerbaijan Grand Prix, and we'll get the 3 podium finishes in here.
Something I didn't think I'd ever see was Amazement inviting me to a party.
Bloody hell.
How times have changed.
It's full circle now. It's gone full circle.
Anything can happen now.
Me. I've given up hating people on Twitter, except from the obvious candidates. Let's not go into that. I think we went into that a little bit in the race when it all sort of died down. Who wants to do questions?
Oh, go on, Joe. You can do them. Mike gave you a nice little welcome in here, so
I know.
let's
let's
do it, mate.
I'm doing brilliant.
Yeah.
I hope you've all ticked the box.
Include that audio.
Yeah.
Don't want to bottle that.
Indeed.
The audio. We'll start from the top then. Of course, Joe, I'm very happy you've won for obvious reasons. Of course, coming from 10th on the grid, you seem to be the only person to not have something happen to you, which I think is quite incredible considering, the chances of you being just involved in something. As I say, I think the lap 7 collision, I don't know how you avoided that. Well done. Just talk us through your race. I mean, it was chaotic first half of the race. Just talk us through it.
Don't know what to say. I think it's been 2 years since I won a race, so I actually can't believe that. To be honest, it was pretty much pure luck, because Baku is one of those circuits where you just got to keep out of trouble, and I was just doing that at all costs. Like the crash with, I think it was Mulder on the back straight. I think the lap 7 one. I just slowed it right down, and that's how Dazzler got me. And then from then on, I was just sitting behind Aaron Dazzler, sort of saving me ERS. I was going to try and wait till the end of the race. And then all I see is him. I think I heard him go off at the castle, so that was pressure off at that point. I just said to myself, right, look at the position you got yourself in. 17 seconds clear. Do not hit the wall now. So I think it was driving at about 70% of those last 10 laps, just to bring it home.
Yeah, I think that was pretty noticeable from us two at least. I think everyone else on stream, you didn't want to push it. So I'll say just a crazy race, and well done. Say your first win in, what did you say, 2 years? Yeah, it's been since 2017, I think, wasn't it?
Not I didn't want to race it, but I've been in ILR1 all the time. It's,
I know.
It's difficult to be at the front with those guys.
Yeah, it is a little bit, and you never know. If you first win in 2 years, I feel like it's been near enough that long since you've seen the ticks away win. Hopefully they do that this weekend. We're hoping. Write a review. Yeah, do a review.
There's no chance.
Well, you never know. Keep
winning that race. And, well.
Moving on.
Go on. Carry on. Let's Keep it positive.
Positive vibes. Mulder's going to do a race review Brighton thing, which we're going to read. I remember we had to do this in Tier 2. Whenever I only got on the podium twice at the 2 races I'm only ever good at. So, Mike, I know, interesting to speak to you after everything. But as I say, considering your race, I can't even remember sort of really where it went wrong and where it went right. I'll be very honest, because so much happened. I know you 2 stopped and had damage.
Yeah, that was the start from the beginning, yeah. Like, we were always going to do the 2-stop. It was... I crashed in the castle section and Nathan was ridiculously close to me in quali. I mean, that could have been a factor because I was watching what he was doing as well, and he smacked into me and then it gave me a 5th place, and then I was like, you got to be kidding me. So I started 8th and I managed to get a reasonable getaway, but multiple occasions that I come up behind people crashing and I just had to slam on the brakes and lose like multiple seconds to guys behind, but just not to get any damage because, you know, a wing change is too costly around here.
It's interesting that wing damage is quite, does damage that much. Because say just slow speed corners and long straights, you'd think it wouldn't have that much of an effect, but it really does. You could really see everyone struggle. So, I mean, It's good that you've come through. I mean, I don't think after lap 1 you was probably expecting that, especially after the qualifying. We was all wondering sort of what had happened, really. Why? It's very strange to see that.
I mean, I lost out in the VSC as well. I was 2.9 in front of Mulder, and all of a sudden it was 1.5. Because I heard that apparently if you speed under it by even like a fraction, you get a drive-through. So I was way too cautious, and it just ended at the wrong point. And then I just tried to push and made mistakes, trying to build the gap back up again, because I was pulling away. But then from then on, he got in a DRS, and I burned out my tyres, and then, I knew that Aaron Dazzler wasn't a threat because he was so far behind, so I just tried to stay within 3 seconds because of the penalty, but it was just too much in the end.
Yeah, and as I say, I think considering, what happened in qualifying, what happened in the first 2 laps, I know you probably lost P2 there in the end, but I think if someone had offered you 3rd place before the start of that race after qualifying, I feel like you would have taken it, all things considered. I mean, just due to the nature of it.
I'd like to shout out Danny though. Like, he was so unlucky getting no screen freezing and retiring because of
That's what it was.
He would have been sat here in P3, I think, because me and him were very, very close, nip and tuck in the race. But yeah, all of a sudden it come up with a cross and he hadn't ghosted. And I don't know if you saw me on the stream, but I was going really slowly behind him through the last sector because I couldn't overtake because his AI car was all over the place. And but yeah, so unlucky for him. He was in a really good position.
We did notice that because obviously we see the gap had come down to 1/10 of a second. We was wondering what on earth was going on. We couldn't work it out, and then Danny went about 20 seconds back.
His car disappeared. It was right next to me, and all of a sudden it had gone, and I didn't understand what had happened.
We didn't either. We just moved on. We couldn't comprehend that, but. Anyway, so I know Danny, commiserations to him, and so I'm not even sure what happened to him on lap 1. It was a shame. I mean, I did want to see him get a good result. I said that pre-race. It wasn't my pick. I didn't curse him. So there's that. But congratulations.
But fair play to Jork and Mulder as well. Decent race, boys.
Yes.
Right. What has Mulder said? He's done a text. I'm gonna have to read this. Right. From our P2 finisher. So, had a really good start on the hard tyres. I mean, that was evident. I mean, probably quicker than you, Joel, actually, early on. I'm not sure if he's just taking it careful, considering.
Yeah, no, he was.
Yeah, and say he was following yourself really well. And, just in the wrong place at the wrong time of the Ginger Ninja sort of incident, crashed into the wall, came right back in front of him on his screen. He lost his front wing. So, he had to pit on that lap as well, which was unfortunate. On the softs, the pace was, and he's put ... so I can imagine he's typing as we speak. Hopefully that comes through soon, because I feel like we got halfway through the story. Please end it in this next paragraph.
Or he's put those dots in place of a word you can't say because it's a family show.
I don't. No, that'd be stars.
He's going to be typing.
3 minutes.
If he is writing more, if he is writing more, he's going to be typing away so quickly because he wants you to get it on the stream and not like, do it
Yeah.
afterwards after the stream.
Please hurry up. We've got 3 minutes till the watershed, so you know.
Well, then we can start
So-
swearing.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what else, really happened.
Yeah,
in
the only thing I'll
this
say
race.
about I think quali, I missed. Well, I didn't. I got
Oh.
unlucky in quali. It was Aaron Dazzler crashed in the castle when I was about 5 seconds behind him on the road on my first mediums lap. So that was the
Didn't
best of
notice
them
that.
gone. I had to just back off and try again.
I didn't really notice that. I'll be very honest. Anyway, the second half of the paragraph. So I'll read it from the sentence on before. So on the softs, the pace was really good, and also in qualifying, really had the pace. But unfortunately, bottled my run on the mediums. But in the race, I had to go to a 2-stop, but picked up a penalty and luckily created the gap of around 3 to 4 seconds and got P2 in the race. Says I don't know, but that was just crazy. Yeah, it was a crazy race, and that perfectly sums it up. Considering everything which has happened, to get, I think, places where you started, retrospectively, I think it was P10, 12, and 8, and second and third had problems anyway. And so Mulder said maybe could have won, but for these things happen. Say the pace of really early on was very good. And it was just very unfortunate. Definitely would have been a contender for the race win. But these things happen, and say that was absolutely crazy, that race, and I don't know how Spain next week is going to stand up to it. Whether I'm going to be here, I don't know.
I'm not.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
You never know. You never know. It's probably,
You never
it'd
know
be me
with
and
how-
somebody else.
Wow, this commentating thing's
No.
gone. I'm a reserve and I've done every race so far. Brilliant.
That's
That.
crazy.
That is
That is
crazy to
madness.
think. So-
You never know. I might not be here next week either. They might pull me to ILR1. They normally do that.
That's just
so,
silly.
Yeah.
Cool.
And obviously hurts you guys, but that's that. Let's not talk about that. But that's been Azerbaijan. That was a cracking race. Really enjoyed watching that, and it was a pleasure to commentate over as always. And well done to Jork, man. I mean, last week, you got second place and wasn't far away from that victory there either. So well done to you, man. After 2 years, finally getting that victory in the bag. So well done, and that's
Thanks.
going to extend your championship lead and do so much good for you. And Mulder again, after and Mike, both of you guys, cracking race by you two. You do fighting it out for a bit of a majority of that last half of the race, and Mulder obviously coming through, and you two just coming through some pretty much a lot of chaos in that race. So well done. All three of you deserve to be where you are because you've kept out of chaos pretty much and kept your nose clean when you needed to. So bravo and well done. So that's been that. Any final words, Joe?
Thanks for having me here again. That's all I'm gonna say. As I say, whoever's here next week, anyone's guess, really.
We have Lee
But the
Mather.
only thing I know is the drivers are going to be at Spain. Obviously, probably not going to be as entertaining. Fingers crossed it will be, but I just have my doubts. As I say,
You
just
never
look
know.
forward to seeing you all next week, at least if we're watching, commentating, who else? We know the drivers are going to be there. Most of them. Most of the drivers are going to be there. It's the main thing.
Exactly. But everyone, thank you for watching. You know the time next week. We'll be back once again at 7:30 next Friday for the Spanish Grand Prix. We'll see you then.